There was a season when I stopped believing things could ever get better. Every door seemed closed, every plan fell apart, and every morning felt heavier than the one before. I wasn't just losing opportunities, I was losing the person I used to be. Failure has a strange voice. It whispers, "You're not enough. It will never change. Just give up for a while." I believed it. I let disappointment become my identity. I let fear decide my future. But then, I realized something. Rock bottom has no power to keep you there. It only becomes your home if you choose to stop standing. And I wasn't created to stay on the ground. So I stood up, not because I felt strong, but because I was tired of letting my pain tell my story. I took one step, then another. Some days I moved forward. Some days I only managed not to move backward. And that was still progress. God never promised that the road would be easy, but every struggle taught me something comfort never could. Patience, humility, gratitude, and the courage to keep walking, even when I couldn't see the destination. Today, I don't thank God for the pain itself. I thank Him for the person the pain created. Because without those broken days, I would have never discovered how strong faith can become. If you feel defeated today, remember this: you are not your worst mistake. You are not your biggest failure. You are not the chapter that almost broke you. You are the one who still has breath, still has hope, still has another chance. And sometimes, the greatest comeback begins the moment you decide to stand up one more time. There was a time when I thought I knew exactly where I was going. I chased the noise, the applause, the approval of people who never truly knew my heart. And somewhere along the way, I lost myself. The strange thing is, you can have everything the world tells you to want and still feel empty. You can smile while your soul is quietly crying. You can stand in the middle of a crowd and still feel completely alone. I don't miss my old life. I miss the peace I once ignored. The quiet moments when my heart felt close to God. The certainty that I was walking towards something greater than myself. Somewhere, I took a different road. One step at a time, until I could no longer recognize the person I had become. But maybe The fact that my heart still longs for the truth is proof that God has not given up on me, because hearts that are truly lost don't search for the light. Mine still does, even if it's only a small spark, even if it's trembling. So today, I am not asking for an easy life. I am asking for clear direction, for wisdom over confusion, for faith over fear, for a heart that chooses truth, even when it costs me everything, because I have learned there is no freedom greater than living the life God created me to live. If you are listening, guide me back, not to who I was, but to who you always intended me to become. Take away my pride, my excuses, my distractions, and replace them with courage to follow the path of truth. Maybe the journey home doesn't begin when your feet move. Maybe it begins the moment your heart whispers, "I've wandered long enough. God, I'm ready to come back." There are nights when the loudest sound isn't the traffic outside. It's the silence of missing home. The kind of silence that carries familiar laughter. The smell of food waiting on the table. And voices you would give anything to hear one more time. People see me smiling. They think I'm doing just fine. What they don't see is how often I imagine walking through that front door, hearing someone say, "You're finally home." Distance is a strange thing. It teaches you that love doesn't disappear just because miles get in the way. Sometimes, the farther you go, the more you realize that family was never just a place. They were your safe place, your first prayer, your first comfort, your first definition of unconditional love. There are moments when I want to call, not because I have something important to say, but simply because I miss hearing their voices. Sometimes, "I miss you" is heavier than any sentence the heart could ever speak. So I keep going, not because it's easy, but because every sacrifice is another step toward the day I can hold them again. And whenever loneliness finds its way into my heart, I whisper a prayer. God, please watch over my family. Protect them when I cannot be there. Give them health, give them peace, and remind them that every mile between us is filled with my love. One day, this distance will become a memory. The long nights, the empty room, the homesick tears, they will all be worth it. Because no road lasts forever, and no goodbye is stronger than
and the love that keeps a family together. Until that day, I will carry home, not in my hands, but in my heart.
There comes a moment when life strips away everything you thought defined you. The title, the money, the applause, even the people you believed would never leave. And suddenly, you're standing in silence, wondering if this is the end. But what if rock bottom was never meant to bury you? What if it was the only place where your foundation could finally be rebuilt? Sometimes, God removes what you were holding on to, so your hands become free to hold on to Him. The world calls it failure. He calls it preparation, because seeds are buried before they grow. Iron is heated before it becomes a sword, and hearts are tested before they become unshakable. Your pain is not pointless. Every tear, every sleepless night, every unanswered prayer has been counted. Not one of them is wasted. You don't have to become someone else. You only have to become the person hardship was shaping all along.
Walk again, even if your steps are small. Pray again, even if your voice trembles. Hope again, even if yesterday broke your heart. Because greatness isn't born in comfort. It is forged in patience, in surrender, and in unwavering faith. One day, people will see your success. They will admire your strength. They will celebrate your victory. But only you and God will know the nights when you almost gave up, yet chose to trust Him anyway. So if today you find yourself at rock bottom, don't build your home there. Build your faith there. Because sometimes the lowest point in your life becomes the strongest foundation for the greatest chapter God has already written for you. Trust His timing. Your story isn't ending, it's beginning. No one ever tells you that losing someone isn't just about the day they leave. It's about every day after that. The chair that stays empty. The phone number you can no longer call. The voice your heart still remembers better than your ears ever could. People say time heals. Maybe it does. But time also teaches you how to carry an ache without letting the world notice. You learn to smile. You learn to laugh. And somehow, you also learn how to miss someone while pretending you're okay. There are days when a familiar scent, an old photograph, or a simple song can bring an entire lifetime back into one heartbeat. And for a moment, they feel close again, not because they returned, but because love never really learned how to say goodbye. If they could speak to you now, perhaps they wouldn't ask you to keep crying. Perhaps they would ask you to keep living, to keep praying, to keep becoming the person they always believed you could be. Because love, real love, doesn't end when a heartbeat stops. It continues in every kindness you give, every prayer you whisper, and every memory you choose to protect. So when the longing comes, don't fight it. Let it remind you that what you shared was real. Raise your hands, whisper their name in your prayer. Ask God to surround them with mercy, with light, and with everlasting peace. Perhaps that prayer is the greatest gift you can still give them. One day, by the will of God, the distance between goodbye and reunion will disappear. Until then, live a life that would make them smile and never forget. Some people leave this world, but they never leave the hearts that love them.